Nah, bro. I don't know what's up with the wife. I can't, like, my wife was literally just down here and she was doing a meeting. So then it was like, all right, now it's my turn to rotate. Then I came down and the Wi-Fi wasn't even.
Right.
Yeah, I know I got that glare from the light.
No, you could. Well, yeah. It's cool. You know, we beyond fancy, bro.
What in the world?
Yeah.
You know. So this is just, man, just kind of just us chopping it up, bro. I didn't,
All right.
just like a makeshift. We just doing whatever we doing to, uplift our people and do all of that stuff.
For sure.
So I got a couple questions, and we want to get into a little bit of Black tech, all of that stuff, the creative side, the father side, just giving a little context, all of that. I want
to. Right. It's a lot of stuff we can get into, bro.
So starting off, just give us a little context on who you are, and it's multiple hats, but touch on some of them.
All right. So first and foremost, Kaleem. What hat do I start with? So I'm an artist, man. Like, first of all, you know what I'm saying? So that's MC, producer, performer. I don't do it as much as, I used to, obviously, but it's just like who I am. So, I'm working on some stuff now, which is exciting. But yeah, man, it's just like I was working on some music yesterday, and it's like, okay, I gotta stay working on music because I gotta hear my heart. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You get a lot of stuff in your head, but it's like I gotta hear like how I'm sounding. So yeah, other than that, technologist, so currently working with a startup, PopCom. Shout out to the whole PopCom team, family, self-service, retail, vending, all that good stuff. I do have an engineering background, coding. I'm working on some other projects that I'm excited to announce later with technology. So yeah, I'm a technologist, like, professionally. So those are really the two things. Other than that, it's organizer, like community. So, creator of the TEDxLincoln Bronzeville, co-creator of those things, and co-creator of like Creative Control Fest. Shout out to the whole CCF fam, man, where we connected at.
For sure.
So that was dope. Yeah, man, and anything really pushing the youth forward, man. I got a passion for Black youth. So that's just trying to give back, bro. So between all of that and, family and kids and all of that, man, just busy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bro. I got a problem.
I love it, bro. You know what? The thing that I had a problem with, because I was kind of getting into the tech too. So, I can read a little code. You know what I'm saying? It's like the analytical side and the creative side. And it's like two different people. Like that analytical coding tech side is more, an introvert, really not in the front. You kind of in the front, you creative. And how you do both?
Man, I was talking to a homegirl the other day, and she was like, you probably dying during this time because you like an extrovert. And I was like, I'm not really an extrovert. You know what I'm saying? Not as much as people would think. I think I have always been both, so ambivert or whatever. But I find value in both. Actually, in my heart of hearts, bro, and nobody believe me when I say this, but in my heart of hearts, I prefer to be left alone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, but I got gifts that put me in a public, you know what I mean? Like setting, like, music or like speaking. Like, those are my talents. Those are my God-given, talents and abilities. So they put me in front of people, but I be in my own zone. So I guess I like everything I do for as an extrovert, I do for other people. You know what I mean?
Right.
But everything I do by myself, I do it for myself. So that's kind of how I balance it. Like if I feel like something can benefit some other people, then I'm highly motivated to help other people. But in my own time, I just prefer to be left alone, bro. Like honestly. So I guess it's, and then too, like things that I've tried before, they suffer if you don't know the other side. So I try to know both sides, not necessarily be a master of both sides, but understand both sides. Because when you just, you know, you already know, like as an artist, if you just create and don't really think about who's going to be using or consuming, you end up being taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you end up being in the same place. So you got to kind of come to that other side to maintain what you're doing. And, you know, and then if it's just all, I'm only out and I don't really know how this works, then I feel like you kind of limit your craft or your mastery because you're working on like a front end, so to speak, but you don't really understand how it works, so you can't really take it to another level. So I think the highest level is kind of, you know, a hybrid approach, you know, when you begin to understand the system of like front and back. And it's the same thing with code. And you got to find a place that you work well in, but you got to also understand how the other pieces play into that. You know what I mean? Just like a car, you know, or something like that. You know, you might only work on brakes, but if you don't understand the whole system around the brake, you know, the axle, you know, all of the other pieces that go into that, you won't be able to really do your brakes to the fullest extent. So you got to at least have an understanding of the pieces around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's go. Can we go back just a tiny bit? Like, tell me where you from, how you got into tech. You know, I know the foundation is hip hop and stuff like that. So the culture is in us. Can you go back just a tiny bit where you from and how you got into tech and all of that stuff?
Yeah. So from Columbus, Ohio, East Side, man, really, I mean, I like hacked my way into tech. So there ain't nothing about my route that leads me to technology. Like it's not on the path. I mean, so I don't have like one of those like, you know, man, I was programming at 10 and just, you know, like it ain't that. Man, really what got me there was I was working with a program that focused on youth employment, ages like 16 through 24. And part of my job was liaison. So I would connect the youth to resources in the community that will help them get certifications for different industries.
What year was this? What year was this?
This had to be we in 2020, so this had right before the twins, so 2015. Yeah, okay. 5 years ago. Yeah, because I left when the twins was born. Yeah, so yeah, so that was like 2014, 2015. And I noticed like I started coming up on technology programs, like some of the providers that was getting state money to certify youth. And this was in like some of your introductory stuff, like an A+, which is more like hardware, M+ networking. So it was like, if you can get those two certificates, you know, you could come out and do like, you know, 50, 60, maybe even 70, depending on your proficiency. So that's somebody coming out of high school, no degree, get an A+, M+, come out like 50, 60K. So I'm like, I ain't making that at this job, bro. Like, what's really?
Right.
I'm about to put the kids on and be working for them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm like, damn, that's wild. So as I started making my rounds and like talking to these different programs, I started feeling like, man, I could probably do this. Like, it don't really seem crazy. So I wasn't even thinking about software engineering. I was just like, let me just get into IT and see what's up. And of course, I had a couple people in it. People was in IT making good money, and it was just like, all right, let me see what that's about. So yeah, then just really coincidentally or divinely, somebody had hit me with a text like, yo, there's a boot camp. Have you heard of this? Like a little coding boot camp. I'm like, nah, I ain't heard of that. went down, and sure enough, there was a program that I went through. They was launching their first class in Columbus. So there was no boot camps in Columbus, no software development boot camps. It was like, all right, 4 months, like 3.5 months, you're going to learn Java, and whatever. So I took the little aptitude test. I actually failed the test, but I switched up my email and then I took it again. So I told them that after the graduation. They did not seem to like that, but it's yo,
hey, bro, I love those stories, bro. I love those stories.
Bro, like, you gotta hustle, man. Like,
hustle. Those the first negotiations. Like, those the first negotiations on business tactics right there.
Bruh, I was like, I gotta get in, man. I can't. If I get denied, let it be because I said I didn't want it. You know what I mean?
Right. Facts.
Let it be because they was like, no. I'm like, hold on. I'm gonna evaluate if it's no or not. So I went into it. Did it, got my ass whooped, bro. When I came out of there, I ain't know nothing. I knew enough to know that I don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't come out with no proficiency, no mastery. I knew the basic, bare minimum.
Is it, I'm sorry to cut you off. Is it safe to say you learned it hands-on? Because I took JavaScript, but then I ain't have no JavaScript work. So it was like, why did I even take it? Because I wasn't really applying it.
Yeah, bro, this is like super hands-on. I mean, I was probably doing like 60 hours a week for like at least like those 3.5 months. I mean, they teach you something for like 2 weeks or 4 weeks, and then you have to do a group project, actually implementing what you learned, whether that was like database, whether that was like, JavaScript or server side, so it was all like super duper hands-on. And which was good because the idea was to kind of get you up and running. But, as you get deeper into computer science, you realize like there's some foundational stuff that you need to have. So now that I've kind of got a grip on that, I've actually gone back on my own to like study like, algorithms or data structures or, and being in startup, that was like the business crash course of the year.
Talk about, can you let's get right into that. PopCom, Dawn, all of that stuff. Cause let them know.
Yeah, let's get into it. Man, what's funny is like, if anybody know like Dawn, she a legend in Columbus already. So, everybody knows that, she's like hustler of the year. So
hold on, give some people some context on Dawn and what she do real quick for people that don't know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so Dawn is like, man, how I explain it? So right now, so she the CEO and founder of PopCom, also the CEO founder of Flat Out of Heels. So she was most notably recognized for doing the Flat Out of Heels venture, putting the rollable flats into the vending machines and then moving like that across the country, Atlanta, Vegas, Miami, so forth. So that's where she made her splash. But even before that, she started like the Urban Star. That's where I knew her from like that online publication in Columbus from back in the day. Urban Star. And then, yeah, man, she was throwing parties and just, always doing like major, but got crazy recognition for Flat Out of Heels. And then after that run, started the, PopCom a couple years back. Mm-hmm. So officially, it was already like in the works like 2012 as an idea of putting it together, but the official launch a couple years back with the raising money. So,
I'm gonna talk real quick, touch on the numbers, how much money was raised to let them know.
So we actually in the middle of a raise right now, which last time I checked was like 310,000 crowdfund equity raise. Which is basically like, think about, Kickstarter, but a person can own a share of a company, or several shares of a company. So she did VC when we first started. Like I actually came into the company right after maybe the round to get the VC. When I say VC, I mean venture capital. So that's going to investors, accredited investors, high net worth people, and banks that control funds, and then asking them to invest money into that startup. So she did like 900,000 plus, close to $1 million. Chose not to do $1 million. Could have did $1 million on venture capital, but every time you do venture capital, you usually give up your equity. So a person has to decide how much equity they want to give up versus the funding that they need. So then the next time she raised money was through the crowdfund. Made history is like the maybe the not black female. The headlines say like the first, woman of color, but it's the first woman from what we've been able to see to raise that much money. We did like over $1 million. We did the cap, like 1,070,000 or whatever. And that was crowdfund. That was all people investing money, and buying up that funding. So we're in another round now to do some more funding. And yeah, so to date, maybe like 2.6 million, maybe more because the crowdfund is opening. But yeah, that's like her superpower. So when we met, we knew each other already. But when we like crossed paths was actually at the boot camp program, because she was at the same place in an accelerator program to tighten up, her business to get the funding and stuff like that. I was in the boot camp program learning engineering, whatever. We literally crossed paths in the hallway. Like, oh, what you doing here? Oh, what you doing here? They start chopping it up. She like, yeah, I gotta, launching my startup, you know what I'm saying? Moving back to Columbus, blah, blah, blah. This is what it is. We doing this, we doing that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That sounds like a dope idea, man. Best of luck. So, we went our separate ways. She kept making moves. I kept making moves. And she like, I want you to join. I'm like, I'm working. Just got into the field. So she hit me like 3 times. And then I'm like, all right, fuck it. Because I did want to, see what that startup life was about. So I did want to see what it's about, man. So yeah, took the kid in and shit, it was just like, yo, you creative. That's why I want to work with you. It ain't even because like engineer or none of that. It really was based off of the other stuff that I was known for doing. So yeah, we started running, man.
What's your role? Sorry.
So man, currently it's data, bro. Like yeah. Head of data. So I've evolved. Like I started out in product development, doing that with them. In startup, you're gonna do everything. So if you got a skill set, I went to the Netherlands last year. That was like international business development, secured a pilot for the cannabis situation. So we'll be launching some kiosk over there once the COVID. So secured that deal. Shit, man. And then now it's just like the data piece because I've been heavy into the AI, heavy into the data.
Let's get into that. Let's get into. I'm sorry to cut you off, bro. I'm sorry.
Nah, bro. It's cool. Keep it. Hey, I'm here for you, bro. So
yeah. Let's get into a little bit of strategy. Let's get into a little bit of looking forward towards let's touch on COVID a little bit, but let's move over to like giving some jewels to the future heads out there, the kids and all that stuff. Let's talk about AI a little bit. Let's talk about, you said something about on your Instagram, talking about, the data can be used for us or against us and that type of stuff too. Can you touch on that, please?
All right, I'm gonna touch on it, man. Let me just touch and go. All right, so you hear a lot of stuff around data. First of all, I have to say a plug for a tech OG, Angela Benton. If nobody following her, if you don't get nothing from what I say, just look her up and follow everything she say and everything that she posts about when it comes to data.
Say her name again.
Angela Benton. Yeah, she's a super OG in tech, but and she's not old at all, but she just makes crazy moves. So she in her 30s, like it's wild. But she has a company called Streamlytics that's about people monetizing their data from their streaming. So follow her. All things data privacy, all things data related. She is absolutely an authority in the space, man. So I say that because I need to say that first. But as data, so first you got to kind of define data. I mean, data is information. So what people don't understand is that computers and obviously your phones, computers exist to leave a record. Excuse me. So computers leaving a record of things or logging things is a function of computers or machines. So everything you do on a digital, on any device is being logged. even if it's like an analog device, like it's still being logged somewhere. People can rip out something, plug something in, and say, this is what happened on this machine. It's a primary function of a machine. Nothing insidious going on, nothing diabolical. Computers just log things, right? That's just what they do. So now, but big tech companies figure out ways now to take what's being logged in computers and to monetize that, right? So to now basically take all of the things that are being, all of the trail that's being left on a device, are, you know, as you use an application, take all of that now and compile it. And when you compile all of that together or aggregate it, you have an incredibly huge set of information. That information, going through that information to find patterns about what people are doing, not on an individual level, on a collective level, is called analytics, right? So, for example, we're on a Zoom call. Zoom can pull all of the information from all of the calls that's being made on Zoom. They could tell you things like, you know, what's the demographic of the people making calls? What time are they making calls? What's the length of the calls being made? What are the time zones of the calls, you know, being made? If there's anything put into the chat bot, they could take that information. What are people talking about? Now, when you think about a human going through that information to make sense of it, it's not possible. But it's very, 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 very possible, and not just possible, is happening with through software and through code, because code can go through that information quickly. You know, millions and millions and millions and billions of like data sets, and it can not only tell you things, it can actually predict things based on the information that you've given it. This is no different than what humans do, right? If I tell you once, hey, meet me at 11, then you like, cool. If I'm 5 minutes late, you note it. Second time, 5 minutes late. Third time, 5 minutes late. So eventually in your mind, the human computer, you're going to say, homie always 5 minutes late. You know what I mean? Because I had the last 3 times. So a computer can make those things, one, faster. 2, it can see the nuances of it. And it can say, yeah, because I've looked at this 9 billion times. Right. And it's always been this, as long as these other things are there. So that's kind of like where you get into the artificial intelligence piece. The artificial intelligence piece, or the machine learning piece, is basically bits of code that can go through information and make connections that, you know, it's impossible for a human to connect. Those connections that are made, or those insights, those are then passed off to people, and then people begin to make decisions based off of those insights. The reason why that's so important is because, one, 5G, people hear about 5G. The 5G network is to really increase the capabilities of data. So you're talking about more data being put online. More data means more information. More information means more patterns, more understanding. These things can analyze people deeply, bruh. I mean, better than people can analyze themselves, because it's not biased. You know what I mean? It's not biased towards what you think about yourself. It's just dealing with whatever data it was fed. It's dangerous for Black communities, because the people who are collecting our data, one, are they collecting the right data? 2, are they giving that data context? So for example, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. You could take little devices called Arduinos, and they have a sound. You can get the ones that have a sound like a microphone on it. You could put those microphones into, you know, Black neighborhoods or whatever. That sound could, and they do this already. It monitors gunshots. You know what I mean? So when they hear a gunshot, which is just a sound above a certain threshold, it can take that information, and then it could basically create a map or a pattern about where gunshots are coming from. Now, if you take that gunshot pattern, now you have a use to say, this is why you need more police in the area, right? Mm-hmm. Because we have data that proves there's more gunshots. So if we need more police now, You know what I mean? It's the same thing with recidivism as far as people going back into being incarcerated. The data is going to tell you that the vast majority of people who get reincarcerated are Black. So the algorithm is going to predict if it's a Black person that's got a warrant, maybe tag them and keep your eyes closer on them because they are predicted to commit a crime again and end up back.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not yet. So people are.
I'm sorry, bro.
No. Go ahead.
All right. Touch on. Let's get into the COVID-19 and all that data. What am I seeing?
Yeah. COVID is wild, man. You're not seeing a lot because. So here's the thing. There's a difference between. Okay, you got people. You got statistical models that are predicting what's happening. A lot of the information that you hear and see is not actual information. It's a model that predicts what is happening or what is probably occurring. It doesn't mean it is what is actually occurring. It's what is likely occurring based off of these statistics that we've collected. One, I think the COVID reporting is probably trash, honestly. And you could say it's trash on both ends. There's not enough testing happening, and then there are a lot of cases where people are just giving people a COVID diagnosis even though they don't have it. So it's a total shit show, honestly. You can't really go by the numbers or go by anything. We really kind of in the dark. But what you see also ramping up is something that can be a little bit more insidious. The issue with all of this data gathering is that like Angela always talks about, man, you don't have a data law in place. So in Europe, you have GDPR that controls the whole European Union. They have all of the policies and all of the laws for what you can do, what you can't do, what's illegal, how you can collect information, how people can opt out of information. In the United States, you don't have a federal law that does that. So what'll happen is now you see people taking people's data in because it's a crisis, right? So medical data that's normally protected or normally has to be processed through certain channels. Now you have third-party companies processing that information because it's the crisis as far as test kits. Now, on one hand, it's like, cool, we need these people to keep it popping, to keep the tests going and whatever. We need people with their hands in it. The issue is even after this blows over, they're still going to have access. There's not nothing that's passed that says, okay, now COVID is over. Now we have to return this into a normal regulated situation, or now we have to go and protect people's privacy. So what happens when medical company ABCD has blood samples of, people that they shouldn't have blood samples for, or COVID, they can basically just go sell that information, and make money off of it. So the problem is when you have data and privacy unregulated, the COVID crisis is being used to really subvert people's constitutional rights. You know what I'm saying? But people are so afraid that it's hard to address that is what's happening. And it's really what happens after. So it's like 9/11. Patriot Act comes that says, yo, now if you're suspected to be a terrorist, we can basically suspend all of your rights. You know what I mean? Now, 20 years later, we don't know how many people under that act have, gone to a location that's, not on the map or, been abducted by federal agents, because when your rights are suspended, they suspended. So we don't know really what's happening under that, but we know that even though the threat from 9/11 has been summed up, it's not like that bill has been reversed. So you got the same thing with data, bro. We have to really watch what things are being passed and what rights are being subverted, because, it ain't going to be no rollover. So if you gave me access to spy on you right now and then COVID going, I'm going to keep spying, bro. I'm going to keep getting your data and doing everything that needs to be got. So we need a federal law. There's a petition circulating right now. There is some news coming, but man, we just out here, bro, with the contact tracing and all of that.
I talk about this a lot in this incompetent and unconscious. And basically what that is you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know that you're in a prison, then you don't know to even break out on one. That's number one. Number two, let's talk about this a little bit. It's because I got a bunch of kids that's at home and they ain't got no computers. they ain't got
Right.
the schools ain't even got no way to get in touch with them. So, you know, I kind of talk about the digital divide and all of that stuff. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So one of the things that I'm the most passionate about, bro, is what's called digital inclusion. So to all the youth watching right now, without, you know, access or something, that's an important thing. And I hope that they become future leaders to get us into these digital spaces. So the tech divide is the wealth divide, bro. So it's your proficiency in technology directly relates to the coins that you're able to make. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't just talking about as an engineer. Like, I'm talking about your technical literacy, like how you can read and understand how to navigate software and use it. This thing that they're doing, my kids got laptops, right? And all of that. But when they drop down a new software program and say all your assignments are on here, they're not teaching the kids how to navigate, right? Because they didn't teach them how to be technologically illiterate. So most people's digital inclusion means, well, let me give you a Wi-Fi signal. Nah, bro, like that's a good first step, but it's like reading, it's comprehension, it's like understanding everything that goes into it. So that's a big issue, bro. It's so many people that don't even have broadband access right now across the country. It's a shame, bro. And I be sitting in these meetings and people that got it just don't understand there's so many people that don't got it, especially in like our rural communities, you know, and then in like low income areas. So that needs to be solved. I'm working on some things in that space directly. I think, you know, we've got a model that we can use, man, to kind of address that. And more information is going to come out on that later. But yeah, it's a huge, huge problem, bro. This digital stuff is not a luxury, you know.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is not a luxury, you know. Governments and, you know, you got food voucher programs because, you know, food is a new necessity. Well, we at a point now where the digital, I ain't saying it's food, but it's up there in that necessity. It's a utility, bro. That's how I look at it. Like, you got electricity, because, nigga, you don't need electricity, right? I mean, you got candles, you know what I'm saying? You got, you could take all the food that you bought at the store and put it in salt to preserve it. I mean, you don't need electricity, you know what I mean? But damn, what are you doing without electricity, bro? Like, you back in the Stone Age. So it's the same thing without Wi-Fi, bro. Matter of fact, and here's the big point. If you didn't have no internet access, or you didn't have no skills on the internet, all of the updates on COVID have been coming through digital communications. I ain't seen one letter come to my house or one physical nothing.
Exactly.
All of the updates have been log on to YouTube for the new stream, for the stream of the governor. You know, log on to this app, get your homework assignment, check your email to figure this out, figure that out. All of it has been all the information that pertains to your life. Like, what would you do if you didn't get the CDC update that said, yo, wear masks or wear gloves, or here's a link to where you could get some masks, or apply for this online. Even if you had a business, it was apply online in order to, you know, get additional money. So, bro, it's mandatory. The biggest thing for kids, though, bro, is to look at these computers and technology as means of survival and not entertainment, bro. When they put the tech in your hand as entertainment, I get on my kids too. I just got on my daughter today. Like, I'll be damned if you walk around here with 3 devices and you forgot to do your laundry.
Right.
You got it twisted. You thinking the phone is for watching Blackish.
Right.
The phone is to keep you on point, because watch Blackish, but use it primarily to stay on point. Use this tech to help you do what you need to do in order to survive and be successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the biggest thing, bro. There's an app to help people get their life in. Apple Books just dropped 1,000 free books, at least in my app, in Apple Books. I bet you young cats with iPhones and even adults, honestly, never even heard of Apple Books. iTunes University was doing free online classes 10 years ago.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? But nobody ever went into iTunes and looked at iTunes U.
I know.
Because the technology has been framed just as just to use for entertainment and not to really change your life. Because if you understand it's there to really change your life, bro, you're going to get power back. So the only way this can keep working is if you ignorant. Like the ignorance of the people is the strength of the system. So they don't want you to understand that while you at the library all day running around playing Roblox, you could have been at the library tapped into these stocks. You know what I'm saying? Tapped into these books, tapped into these free classes, and been getting yourself out of poverty. They want you to keep looking at it as an entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And not like what it is. So don't get me started, bro. Don't get me going, bro.
No, bro. This what it is. This what I called you for. So this for me more than anybody, bro. Somebody get some juice out of it. I hope they do. Let's talk about this. We got some tech up. We some young bulls. We got the tech up. What we looking at? Should we looking at Shopify? We looking at drop shipping, cryptocurrency. Touch on some of that LinkedIn. What should we be doing?
Man, you talking about just what tech should people be using to kind of?
I'm just saying some future, they want to get into some entrepreneurship. They got this.
Yeah. So, man, obviously e-commerce, right? So like you said, that's Shopify, even though I've heard some funny things about Shopify, but regardless, right now it's just mindset. Shopify, obviously, Amazon, obviously, any platform that's going to allow you, Alibaba, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of licks that people done been hitting on Alibaba, buying from over there, getting, X amount of products in bulk, and then reselling it through your Shopify store or reselling it.
I don't know about Alibaba now with the COVID-19, but.
Hey, listen, man. Nah, I know what you're saying. This is mindset. I mean, a person got to assess their own risk. But we got even PopCom, like we got stuff. China, Wuhan, man, like I said, you got to peel back the onion. Some of that stuff is already sold up. They've been back on production. Part of it is, bro, China and United States are in an artificial intelligence war. You know what I'm saying? They are at each other's neck. So everything that come out that each other say about other, you got to take with a grain of salt and kind of peel it back. You know what I mean?
I was talking.
And they both be lying.
I was talking about on the level of getting some shipping and stuff and the delays on that. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, even like Amazon got like shipping delays. I think everybody got shipping delays right now because it's just rough. But as things begin to reopen back up, it's still going to be the most viable places to kind of move like that. I mean, obviously, you got your free resources, Zoom, Google Hangout, for, conduct your meetings in your business. And then, but I would like to highlight, man, honestly, the biggest thing is all of the free education happening right now, bro. I use a platform called Free Code Camp and Scrimba, and it's free. And they just teach you whatever you need to know. So if you want to build that website, if you want to learn how to do WordPress sites, if you want to, dabble with this, get a little introduction to like AI, machine learning, bro, it's free. Even Udemy, Udemy, you know what I'm saying? $10 classes, $5 classes, free classes on Coursera. On Coursera, you could take free classes, university level. If you just audit the class, which is like you won't get a certificate, but you can still get the information. So I think, man, we have to totally reformat our brain on the value of information, bro. These companies are taking information and they making billions. Amazon made billions off of information. Google, billions off of information. Like, they information companies, bro, but we still sitting around not valuing information. You know what I mean?
Let me touch on something. I got some
touch on it, bro.
This not just for young people, this older people too, because I'm teaching both levels. One of my little spots is Google Talks. Google Talks got all the top authors come in there and give a lecture on their book. So not only that I'm reading the book, but I'm getting Google Talks at the schools. Like, I'm right there on the Google campus. Stanford University, Stanford got all their lectures on there too. So it's like I'm going to Stanford for free, bro.
Right. And keep in mind, people was paying tens of thousands to get that information. or to get the way that like, it's a reason why, Stanford, like, #1 computer science program. That's not because they just are. It's because they're doing something very different, and that they obviously have a network of people who are doing things very different to kind of get that jewel. So yeah, like, this stuff is open and available. Like you said, bro, Google Talk, like, everywhere, bro. Like, it's just knowledge overload. So we really in a situation now where you can make a choice, bro. You can be up on here on that bullshit. And yeah, get your bullshit in. Like, that's equivalent to a bag of Grippos. Like, you feel me? Like, I'm going to eat Grippos, but I ain't going to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to get, I ain't going, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a snack, bro. Like, yeah, snack on this entertainment, bro. But this stuff it's not preparing you for the future. Do the things that's preparing you for the future is now. So you will be hard pressed to not understand some of this information. Even a person like Google got, machine learning courses, like free ones, crash courses. So like, they're a little heady, but if you just wanted to kind of glimpse at it, just to say like, man, what is this about? Let me just dabble, like, let me just see. Cause before I even took the coding boot camp, I had to take some class on like Udacity, like, just little app development, just seeing if I kind of even had a little bit of aptitude to do it. And then look where I ended up at, bro. So people got to be curious, man, but get off the bullshit, because the algorithms are built in a way that when you click on something, it's going to send you more of what you are clicking on, because it thinks that's what you want to see. So you click on bullshit, you look in your feed, ain't going to be nothing but bullshit. I tell people, like, the algorithms work like you walk into a store, you grab a bag of chips, and then the whole row turn into chips. Like, that's how it works. You know what I'm saying? So as you grab more things, the store gets transformed. So the issue with that is it begins to narrow your mind, because you start thinking that the world is this, because you searching on Google thinking that it's just bringing you back searches that are happening in the world. Nah, bro, it's bringing you back searches that are happening in your world based off of your footprint. It's not bringing you what's going on globally. It's bringing all of the bias. So it's making you more narrow in your thinking and more biased. When I search, bro, I use a thing called DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is encrypted searches, it's private searches, and it reduces, so they're not saving your searches. So they're not using that to filter your news and using that to filter filter what you see. The world that people see is being filtered, bro. You already so deep into the matrix, you don't even realize it. You don't even realize that it fully happened already. You know what I mean? So we got to teach our kids to value information. And once you value the information, then you can go fish for it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, that's the new teach a man how to fish, is teach a person how to value knowledge and information, and they're going to figure out the rest. So even on TikTok, bro, my daughter, I'm going to just say this. She be dancing on there, but I was hitting people over the head, bro. She started baking on there, bro.
Right.
Because I've taught her from day one that the technology is a tool to advance you, not strictly for entertainment. So when she go on TikTok, she learned new dances. Not just that, she learned how to cook, bro. She learned how to make her own hair gel, bro. Because people post all types of content on TikTok. But if you only following what you following, you're going to think that people don't do nothing but dance on there. It's not true.
Yeah, exactly. You know well, it's learning how to disrupt what's going on in there. How can I come in here and innovate and break what's going on and disrupt that?
Because it's just a platform. And that's the mentality of hacking. The platform is whatever you want it to be. Zoom, they did this for like whatever, but we hacking it. That's the hip hop, right? We hacking it, we flipping it. Instagram started one way. They weren't thinking that people was going to start doing music battles on live.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's switch gears a little bit, because we ain't got a limited time on this Zoom, unfortunately. Let's talk a little bit about hip hop and the culture. What you listening to right now? Hold on, let me say who I think is like the top dogs right now. I want to say Griselda and my man Benny the Butcher, but Conway, is next on my list.
Yeah. I mean, I love Griselda, bro. Like, I love it because people like me, you know, I went through life, I evolved, rap a little, stopped a little, whatever, have family, whatever. I just love that homies, they was able to stay true to a sound that we all knew was timeless and iconic. So even though people was, because you'll put on some stuff like some old woo and people like, oh, you an old head, but it's like, nah, bro, the shit just fire. It ain't got nothing to do with it. So Griselda came, brought real bars and grind back, and it was just like, yeah, bro, like I've been saying, like there's a place for this in hip hop, and it's fire, bro. I love it because it takes me back,
like you were saying, it's going back to disrupting again. It's taking an old model. So I was listening to something, and they was talking about synthetic imagination and creative imagination. And synthetic imagination is basically taking some old models and just moving the information around. So it's like, go ahead.
Nah, that's fine. You was talking, I was looking at my iTunes, man, to see what
So you back in the booth, you doing beats and you doing all of that. Tell me a little bit, touch on what's next for you, bro. Let's get to that.
Bro, I got a couple announcements coming out, man. I can't get into it right now on the call, man.
We'll talk about what you can, bro.
Yeah, I mean, basically, man, I love music, obviously. You know what I'm saying? I love technology, so I'm always trying to think of ways to combine these things and to marry these things. And I think I got something that's gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So, I've been back like literally like 2 days ago. Like I practicing what I was preaching. I did an IBM certification, professional certificate in artificial intelligence, man, and that was a head crack. Maybe took like 5 months, and then like the day after, I was in the lab just to get my mode back. So I had to reset the lab up. Got some vinyls I need to get through, man, and honing the craft, bro. Like I am working on some stuff. I still am planning on dropping something this year for sure. I mean, I definitely got pushed back, but I'm working with some dope producers. I'm working with a dope producer specifically. My man P, and
you doing beats too. You said producing, so you doing beats too?
Yeah. I'm trying to get nice on this, bro. This is what the 404. This is what I'm really trying to, vintage, bro. Like that lo-fi hip hop. But yeah, I'm working in Ableton, man. I knocked out a beat yesterday. It was meh, but it's just practice, bro.
Yeah.
Everything ain't gonna be crazy, but I'm just getting back in the habit of going through the process. Like make a beat, lay some vocals down, and then archive it, man. And then if you want to go back to it, because before I spent so much time like, on some searching for the perfect beat type stuff, and then you don't make a beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't even make one.
Right. I mean, I think everybody's looking for that beautiful finished product, man. Somebody sent me a video and I was like, yeah, it looks like your first video. And they was like, didn't really like what I told them. But if you look at my first videos, they ain't like the videos that I got now. I've been doing videos for 4 years.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's hard when people, like, I feel like when it comes to rap, I feel like my bars is like a premium, you know what I'm saying? Like, so when you starting to do new things, you got to start at the bottom. So it kind of throw you off because you like, I got skills over here, but over here I'm like, meh. But then you realize like it's taking a lifetime to get here. So you just got to put in the work again and the time to get the skill where you need it to be. My biggest thing is like, I don't really care about producing everything myself, but I've had such bad luck with producers. And the thing is like, I play instruments too. So it ain't like production was just like out of my range or out of my scope of abilities. Like I've produced a couple things, but I never really took it serious, like dead ass, like, all right, let's get it. I never took it serious until like recently where I'm like, man, because my lyrics have, sometimes you just don't want to go through somebody else. Like, you just want to get your shit off the way you need to get it off. you know, I'm gonna always put the focus on what I'm saying and as a lyricist, but sometimes you ain't trying to wait for niggas, man. They like, you know, update this kick or, you know, get that chord, or you wanted to chop it differently, or hold on, it ain't really ready, or, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I ain't got time for that, bro. Like, especially now, like, I really ain't got time. So I had to just become like, you know, master my own fate, hack into that too. And, you know, and I know so many musicians, I got enough people that can tighten up whatever I do. If I really need to get busy with drums, I'll just send it to my guy. He's, you know, professional drummer. Like, I'll send the guitar parts too. I got enough musicians that they can fill in the blanks, but I don't want to wait for people to create the concept because I just don't have time for that. You know, this ain't back in the day, man. I got a lot on my plate, so I need to. But sometimes being able to do that, that's a magical thing, to have people around you that can work at your pace, on your seriousness and on your professional level, you know, but it's a hard thing. So got to control as much as you can.
Dope. All right, bro, we ain't got unlimited time. Give me some words of wisdom, but please touch on something that you've been talking about real quick on how important it is to have a network. Give us some last words of wisdom from you and how we can find you and all that stuff.
All right, man. So as we used to say back in the day, man, your network determine your net worth. when I was doing that prepaid legal, bro. But nah, it's real, man. One of the reasons I even joined PopCom was because, you know, I wanted to be in that world. I wanted to work with sharp people, smart people, you know, hustlers, creative folks. And I've done that, man. Like, I'm doing that. Like, the people that I have on my phone now are some of the illest people I've ever run into. Same thing with Creative Control Fest, bro. You know, we started that platform to create community. Now some of the people that I have on my phone from a creative standpoint and from a hustling standpoint is just ridiculous. This allows me to do what I need to do. This allows me to get Zoom calls, or when there's proposals or contracts or, you know, stock tips or, you know, whatever. It's all coming from other people. Like I said, you asked me about data, I gave you the plug. You know what I mean? Angela Benton, the data plug, like, it's there, bro. Like, I mean, I got jewels too, but, you know, I'm going to just plug you directly because I love you. You know what I'm saying? So I would just say, man, you know, add value. That's it, bro. Everything you do, add value. You know, you meet somebody, add to their life. You got an idea, add value. You got a beat, just add value. Add value to the world, add value to yourself, add value to your family. Don't be a subtractor, don't be a divider. Only walk with, you know, addition and multiplication and exponents, bro. So if you fucking with me, that's all I got. All I got is I can add something to your life, I can multiply some dope in your life, or I can take you to the exponent level, exponentially greater. You feel me? That's the only energy I'm keeping, bro. And that's the only energy I'm taking, bro. You can't come with that subtract. Nah, bro, I ain't with it. I don't want it. Get it out of here. So that's it, man. I'm found on all outlets, Kaleem, Kaleem, and then a bunch of underscores or whatever. My site, Kaleem Creates. I'm bullshitting on it, but that is the site. Ain't nothing on it for real, but I'm gonna get to it. Okay. But yeah, I'm on social media, IG. I'm not on Facebook, but IG and Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Kaleem and a bunch of underscores. It'll come up.
Dope, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you, bro.
Hey, bro, thank you. This was like a nice little powwow bar section, bro.
For sure.
I needed to get that off. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, bro.